Have you ever noticed how the kindest people often end up being the most hurt? How those who give the most are the ones who receive the least? There's a brutal truth hidden behind your kindness, and it may be silently destroying you. Kindness without limits isn't virtue, it's self-sabotage disguised as goodness. And while you smile and say yes, a part of you dies in silence. Machiavelli, the Italian philosopher who dared to say what no one wanted to hear, wrote about power, strategy, and survival in a world that doesn't forgive the naive. He wasn't teaching cruelty. He was revealing a truth that society hides under layers of moralism. In this world, whoever doesn't respect themselves will be disrespected. Whoever doesn't establish boundaries will be invaded. Whoever confuses kindness with weakness will pay the highest price of all, the loss of themselves. Since childhood, you were taught to be good. Be polite, they said. Don't be selfish, they repeated. Help others, they ordered. And you obeyed. You became the reliable person, the one who's always available, who never complains, who absorbs others' problems as if they were your own. You took pride in this. After all, kindness is virtue, right? But nobody told you the other side of this coin. Nobody warned you that there's an abysmal difference between being kind and being convenient, between being generous and being used. The truth is that many people don't value your kindness. They see it as a guarantee that you'll always be there, always available, always willing to sacrifice yourself. Your kindness doesn't inspire gratitude in them. It inspires expectation. And when you dare to hesitate, when you finally consider your own needs, you become the villain of the story. How could you, after everything they did for you? But wait, what exactly did they do? Oh yes, they allowed you to give until exhaustion. Machiavelli observed something fundamental about human nature. People respect strength, not weakness. They admire those who know their own worth and defend it. Generosity is only respected when it comes accompanied by discernment. When you give indiscriminately, without filter, without criteria, your kindness loses value. It becomes predictable, and the predictable is always exploited. Think about your relationships. How many of them are truly reciprocal? How many people you always help would be by your side in a real crisis? How many call you only when they need something? The answer is usually painful, because you attracted people who aren't seeking connection, they're seeking convenience. And it's not their fault. The fault lies in the price you placed on yourself, zero. There's a cruel pattern that repeats in the lives of excessively kind people. They believe they'll be loved for how much they sacrifice. They believe their kindness will be reciprocated, that the universe is fair, that whoever plants love harvests love. But reality is more complex. The world doesn't work like an automatic spiritual transaction. Often, those who love most are those who suffer most. Those who give most are left empty. And then comes the question that changes everything. Why are you so kind? Pause for a moment and reflect honestly. Are you kind because you genuinely want to be, or because you're afraid of not being loved? Do you help others out of true compassion, or because you need to feel necessary? Does your kindness come from abundance or scarcity? These questions are uncomfortable because they reveal a truth that few have the courage to face. Often, excessive kindness is just disguised fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of not being enough. When your identity is built on being useful to others, you become hostage to others. Approval. Every no you need to say comes loaded with guilt. Every boundary you try to establish seems like a betrayal of your own values. But here's the paradox. By trying to be good to everyone, you're being cruel to yourself. By avoiding disappointing others, you're disappointing the only person who truly matters, you. Machiavelli understood that virtue without cunning is naivety, that kindness without limits is weakness. He wasn't telling you to become a bad person. He was telling you to wake up to the reality of the game being played. While you play with an open heart, others play with strategy. While you give your trust freely, others negotiate it. You're in a chess match playing with checkers rules. Perhaps you've already felt this, that feeling of emptiness after another day meeting others. Demands. That tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep because it's not from the body, it's from the soul. That silent resentment you swallow because good people don't feel anger, right? Wrong. Good people feel it too. The difference is they learn to repress it, to smile while bleeding, to say everything's fine when nothing is. If you're recognizing yourself in these words, know that you're not alone. Millions of people live in this invisible prison, believing their kindness will eventually be rewarded. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards those who know their own worth and defend it. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready for this truth, because what comes next will challenge everything you were taught about kindness and respect. The great illusion they sell us is that establishing boundaries is selfishness, that taking care of yourself is narcissism, that prioritizing your needs is cruelty. This is the biggest lie society tells, and it's told by people who benefit from your lack of boundaries. Think about it. Who gets most uncomfortable when you start saying no? Exactly those who always said yes to your requests. No, those who always asked and never gave anything in return. Self-respect isn't being rude. It's not being cold. It's not closing your heart. Self-respect is understanding that you also matter in the equation, that your needs are as valid as others, that your energy is a precious resource that deserves to be invested wisely. When you respect yourself, your kindness stops being weakness and becomes choice, a conscious, directed, powerful choice. Imagine the difference between a fountain that gushes water indiscriminately, wetting even those who don't need it, quickly exhausting itself, and a gardener who waters each plant with precision, knowing exactly where their water will be best utilized. Both are giving, but one is destroying itself in the process, while the other is cultivating a garden. Machiavelli would say you need to be like the fox, cunning, observant, selective. Not everyone deserves your kindness. Not everyone has a right to your time. Not everyone has earned the privilege of your availability, and that's okay. This doesn't make you less compassionate. It makes you more conscious, less exploited, more whole. True transformation begins when you realize you don't need to explain your boundaries. You owe no justifications for prioritizing your peace. There's a secret even deeper that few know. People only treat you badly when you allow it. Read that again. People only treat you badly when you allow it. Every disrespect you tolerate is a lesson you're teaching about how to treat you. Every abuse you forgive without consequences is permission for it to repeat. You are, unconsciously, training the people around you about your limits. And if you have no limits, what you're teaching is that everything is acceptable. Establishing boundaries isn't building walls. It's building doors with you in control of the key. It's consciously deciding who enters, when they enter, and under what conditions. It's making clear that your inner space is sacred and not everyone has free access. Does this scare people? Yes. The wrong ones. The right ones will respect it. The right ones will value your presence even more because they'll understand it's a gift, not a right. You need to learn the sacred art of no. No without guilt. No without endless explanations. No without justifying yourself as if you were committing a crime. A simple, clear, firm no. I can't. I don't want to. I won't. 3 words that, when used consciously, have the power to completely transform your life. At first, it will hurt. It will feel like you're being selfish. Your old programming will scream that you're wrong, that you're disappointing people, that you're becoming a bad person. But this pain is necessary. It's the pain of growth. It's the discomfort of breaking old patterns and establishing new ones. And on the other side of this pain exists something extraordinary: freedom. Freedom to choose where to invest your energy. Freedom to cultivate genuine relationships instead of connections based on convenience. Freedom to be kind because you want to, not because you must. Freedom to respect yourself as much as you respect others. Machiavelli also taught about the balance between being loved and being respected. He concluded that if you have to choose to be respected, because respect is more lasting. Respect establishes solid foundations. And curiously, when you respect yourself, when you establish and maintain your boundaries firmly, something magical happens. The right people start loving you precisely for that, because healthy people don't want someone who erases themselves. They want someone whole, someone who knows their own worth, someone whose presence is a conscious choice, not an automatic obligation. You attract what you are. If you don't respect yourself, you'll attract people who won't respect you either. If you value yourself, you'll attract people who recognize and honor your value. The journey of self-respect requires you to disappoint some people, and that's okay. You're not here to be the comfortable version of yourself that others prefer. You're here to be authentic, to live with integrity, to honor the person you see in the mirror every morning. Here's the final revelation, the truth that will set you free. Your kindness only becomes strength when it comes from self-respect. When you know your worth, your goodness has weight. When you establish boundaries, your generosity has meaning. When you consciously choose where to invest your time and energy, your relationships transform. You don't need to be cruel to be respected. You need to be clear. You don't need to be cold to establish boundaries. You need to be firm. You don't need to stop caring about others. You need to start caring about yourself with the same intensity. Machiavelli left us a manual not of manipulation, but of survival. A guide to navigate a complex world without losing yourself in the process. He reminded us that kindness without wisdom is naivety, that generosity without discernment is waste, that self-love isn't luxury, it's necessity. So here's your new beginning. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop diminishing yourself so others feel comfortable. Stop giving until you're empty, hoping someone will eventually fill you. Start respecting yourself with the same intensity you respect others. Establish boundaries without guilt. Say no without fear. Choose yourself from time to time without feeling selfish. Your kindness isn't weakness when it comes accompanied by self-respect. Your goodness isn't naivety when it comes guided by wisdom. Your love isn't vulnerability when it's grounded in self-love. You can be good and strong. You can be kind and respected. You can be compassionate and have boundaries. These things aren't opposites. They're complementary. The world needs your light, but not your exhaustion. It needs your kindness, but not your sacrifice. It needs you whole, not you broken into pieces distributed to those who don't always deserve them. If this message touched something deep in you, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and in the comments tell me, what boundary do you need to establish today? What no do you need to say? This journey is yours, but you don't have to walk alone. Remember, respecting yourself isn't selfishness, it's revolution.